What's up, boys and girls? It's the Gypsy back at it again. And this is a video on what I think happened in this fight. And obviously, there's going to be those guys, oh, see what happened, Tank fucking knocked out Ryan Garcia. Yeah, that's exactly what we predicted, and all this shit and all that crap. But none of them were 100% sure. That's why they made bets on the side that possibly Ryan could knock out Tank. No one was sure about this fight, no matter how sure you thought of yourself. Like, for instance, Bivol versus Canelo, I knew 100% Bivol was gonna win, whether he's gonna get a decision or not. I didn't fucking know that shit, bro. I knew that Bivol was gonna win. No chance that I thought Canelo would have beaten him, knocked him out, or anything like of the other. Second fight, then it might be closer. But this narrative that I'll give you a channel that he's so sure of himself, Boxing Gems. You know what I mean? Tank is such a complete fighter and this and that. Tank is. I'm not saying Tank ain't a complete fighter. Is he truly though a complete fighter? Is he truly a complete fighter though? Because if he's lacking in one area that another fighter is much better at, does that make him not a complete fighter? More of a complete fighter? How's that work? You know what I mean? And let me tell you something, okay? Tank is a good fighter, and before this fight ever took place, years back, I said Tank should win. But Ryan, over the time, developed, showed a power, showed speed, showed promise. And remember, this Ryan kid has beaten Haney. You guys in amateurs 3 times and lost 3 times himself. 3 wins, 3 losses. They're pretty much in 6 matches. They're cut and dry 50-50. But you guys are favoring Haney over Tank Davis, right? If I'm not mistaken, you might be. You might be favoring Haney over Tank Davis, right? But I can sit there and tell you right now, after watching this fight, Haney gets dog walked, legitimately dog walked, because he has no power to keep Tank off of him. Tank, just like Adrian Broner said, that sparring match was no BS. It was legit shit, and this fight obviously proves it. That Tank will walk down Haney, and Shakur is the same. Shakur has also been beaten by Ryan Garcia in the amateurs. Yes, he did. Ryan beat him in the amateurs. None of these kids stand a chance against Tank Davis. The one that has the best chance of beating Tank Davis, and I'm still not favoring him to beat Tank Davis, is Lomachenko. And the guy that Tank ducked, whether you Tank fanboys want to believe that shit or not, I don't give a damn. As I said before, I had no dog in this race, no fucking none of that shit, bro. I said I don't know who to pick. I slightly leaned over Ryan because of the fact that he has the longer reach and he's fast and he knows he has timing and he has good distance. Not the best distance control, but good distance control. The best is Bivels, bar none. No one can argue with me on that shit. I can prove in many fucking ways. You know what I mean? But these guys, if you really want to consider Tank the face of boxing, I mean, maybe at this point you can call him the face of boxing because he just beat Ryan. But he's got to being the face of boxing don't mean that you just beat Ryan and now, you know, dude, that's it. I'm gonna retire. You know what I mean? That shit don't work that way. You got to be like Canelo. You got to face other challenges, worthy challenges, like he didn't even want to mention Haney and Shakur, but You got him. I guess he didn't want to give him no clout. That's probably why. But if you don't face neither one of those guys, uh, did I say Haney and Canelo? I mean Haney and Shakur. Sorry. He didn't want to face any Haney and Shakur. He didn't mention their names. He didn't say. I'm not saying he didn't want to face them, but he didn't mention their names. I guess for the clout, and also um, possibly that Loma might beat Haney. I favor Haney over that fight because of the jab that he has, snappy jab, and Loma's over there trying. Sometimes he puts up a high guard and gets in the shooting range of his opponents. And by the time he could do anything, he's gonna get hit. Trying to slip punches and all that kind of stuff. Haney's not gonna. He's gonna snap his jab out there and he's gonna make him reset over and over again. So, and I, uh, I think that fight goes the distance, and I think Haney takes it. I favored Haney as soon as he beat Kambosos. I favored Haney over everyone else because he was proven. Now Tank is legitimately proven. I can sit there and say Tank is proven. Beating the lights of Rolly, even though that was a premature stoppage, and then this one you can't argue this was a legitimate stoppage by Ryan Garcia. Tank is so proven that I believe that he defeats everyone in this division. Mayweather picked this boy properly. I could just say this much. 140, I haven't looked into it if he can beat everybody in 140. But if there's someone that could beat him, but definitely everybody in 135. Shakur, I don't know what the hype is about that kid. I've seen his fights. His last fight was fake. That Japanese dude he was fighting against didn't move his head at all like he did against Nakatani. He didn't. I'm sorry. You guys watched a fake fight. I believe that Shakur was going to beat the Japanese dude. I thought he was going to go to a decision, a clear victory favoring Shakur Stevenson. But what happened? They saw, even though the Japanese dude was giving them opportunities to hit him, you know, he he couldn't finish him. So what they did was stop the fight. Why? Because he's taking too much punishment. Now you guys are concerned about punishment. You wouldn't be concerned about punishment before, but now you guys are concerned about punishment. You know what I mean? Like, you were you concerned about Ryan getting punished? I mean, what kind of double standard is that? Ryan should be getting punished, right? But the Japanese dude shouldn't. I mean, the Japanese dude was still in the fight, but the thing is, the Japanese never moved his head like he did against Nakatani. Never did it. The only two people in this amongst these youngster black kids that is proven is Tank right now and Haney. Shakur hasn't proven shit. And even the hype is, I don't give a shit how hyped they hit up. Oh, you should see eye test. Look at him, bro. He just had a fake fight with a Japanese dude the Japanese dude gave it to him. He had multiple opportunities to touch him up where even Shakur could have gotten hit and he didn't. His punches were off by miles, like he didn't want to hit him because he was paid not to do so. Ryan Case is not like that. It's no conspiracy. Ryan got his ass fucking beat up. And I could say the same thing about the other fella called Rolly. And to say what was the major issue in this fight, before you quit this video and say this is a conspiracy video and all this fucking shit, the major issue in this fucking fight, the major problem within this fight was Tank had no respect for Ryan's power. He had none. Rolly actually had much more power, which is surprising. I thought Ryan had much more power, but no, it was the opposite. Unless Tank has developed his chin or something like that, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's possible. And they say that you can't develop your chin. No, you can't. Work on your neck. Work on getting comfortable with certain level of punching power, and the next thing you know, you're taking more punching power. It's not like Gennady Golovkin could take punches like he did from the beginning of his career. That's a development. Good defense, good limited level of getting hit in the face, not a lot. Eventually, you get conditioned getting hit, and eventually, you get conditioned to get hit even better, which is just to be punch resistant. You should have some kind of punches, not just get pummeled in left and right, and your punch resistance will go out the window. You're not developing no kind of punching um, conditioning. I mean, fucking Sugar Ray Leonard got hit the first time he had stepped in a ring, and he never wanted to step in back in the ring ever again. Watch Mike Tyson hot boxing, you find out. And then he developed and developed and developed to having a better chin. It happens because that's how it is. So maybe Tank is in that fashion. Maybe he can take punches better now because he sure as hell did not respect Ryan Garcia's punching power. He stepped into him. He was willing to take the right hand of Ryan, and Ryan's right hand is strong, just as his fucking hook is, left hook is. He was willing to take that shit to deliver the body shot that ultimately put Ryan on his knees, which means he has no respect for his puncher. And if you recall in my videos, I said if Ryan's punching power phases or hurts Tank, then Tank is in a world of trouble. But Ryan has to what? Not chase the man. And what did Ryan do? Chase the man. Like a certain other motherfucker that did the same exact thing. What's his name? Rolly. Let me see this. Rolly Romero. This guy. Chased after him, reached in for shots that he shouldn't be reaching in. The distance was too far out, and so was Ryan. And what happened? I mean, Ryan, buddy, you know what I mean? You got dropped in the second round. You know what I mean? If you got dropped in the second round, you shouldn't have exchanged at all, knowing that you're gonna, after that second drop, you shouldn't be doing that shit, bro. You shouldn't be chasing after this dude. And if you do land a few shots, step back, get your range, and keep your range. But what did he do? I don't know if this so-called Hall of Famer trainer told him or not. I didn't fucking hear the trainer, Ted Goosen. I've been to his gym. Did he tell him or not? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't hear it, to be honest. In the corner, I didn't hear that. So I mean, I said in my video, never chase after Tank, because Tank, what does he do? You run after him, you have to step into him, right? Before you step into him, he's already thinking that you're gonna step into that position, and what does he do? He reacts with anything. In this case, I think he dropped him with a left hook. He in the second round, and in the last round, the seventh round, where he not that he took out Ryan. What does Ryan do? He makes a he throws a left hook, completely misses, and then tries to follow up with a right hook. Bro, if you miss, at that point you either clinch, You're not new to boxing. You know you're off position. There's no way you didn't know that shit. That the next shot's coming, or you fucking block like you did I'm not sure in the fourth round or what, somewhere around that rounds where he ended up in the same situation and he had his guard up. He kind of showed his back to Tank and he was avoiding getting hit. That was the best idea. One of the two, or this is the best idea. I think the clinch would be the best, but depending on the circumstances and the reaction time and how far you are from your opponent and how ready your opponent is to throw his punch, it could be either or. You can clinch or you can put up your guard and absorb less punishment. Seems like the spies in Ryan Garcia's camp from Gervonta's side saw the body shot as being Ryan's weakness. It was a legitimate thing. And nigga, if you excuse my language, dude, if you know that they know, you know what I mean? You know, that your dumbass, you know, is weak on the body, why the fuck do you open up? You know how dumb that sounds? Why the fuck do you open up? Why do you exchange with a guy that knows that you're weak in the body? You keep the distance, you avoid all that shit. I mean, it takes common motherfucking sense. Look at this dumbass who, this dumbass, I could, you know, with Rolly, I can kind of forgive, you know, I mean, because with Rolly didn't, you know, this was the first time Tank actually faced someone with the punching power Rolly, and I think no one hits anybody that's ever faced Tank, that is, has in the professional, not at sparring or amateurs, has hits as hard as Rolly did, because Rolly busted his skull before he ended up reaching in and ended up in this position as we can see right here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So why the fuck did you do that, bro? Like why? I mean, there's nothing else to say, and there's also there was nothing in Ryan's 50-50 game with his jab and his hook, or that he could use to the body, or anything. None of the things that I expected him to do. Besides keeping the distance, he didn't do any. I mean, he was doing 50-50. He was throwing body shots, but there wasn't nothing behind it. Like, even when he saw the opportunity, there was nothing behind it. He didn't throw anything really that hard on the body. You know what I mean? I guess it was, you know, the spies in the camp and all this other shit was what Tank selling the fight for you guys, for all of us. Tank, not Tank, maybe more like Mayweather selling the fight for all of us. You know what I mean? Selling the fight, saying, hey, you know, Ryan is a real a legitimate threat to Tank. But reality is, Ryan, if Ryan was the better boxer overall, he was the better boxer. He would never he would still wouldn't have been at, like, if he was the all around, like Gems be saying, if he was all around complete fighter, boxing Gems, it wouldn't make a difference. Tank would have still knocked him out. It wouldn't have made a difference. See, this is one thing you guys don't understand. You and motherfuckers still don't understand. Motherfuckers still don't. They can't get this through their thick skull. You can be the better boxer, and you'll still lose the fight, either by knockout. I should take it back. Oh yeah, either by knockout or by decision, because you can get costly dropped and you somehow survive to the decision. It doesn't matter. You can still lose the freaking fight, man. It doesn't change anything. Bivol's not an all-around boxer, but I can almost guarantee you that if Bivol was in the same division as Tank, he'll outbox him. He'll outbox him because he just knows how to keep the distance really, really good. Not even Tank is Tank, and both Ryan and Garcia and Tank know how. They were similar in level of knowing how to keep the distance, but Tank had a little more tools, and he also know the weakness of Ryan before the fight through the spies in the camp, which made it. I mean, let's not go back to the stupidity of Ryan, of why how stupid his decision was to exchange, knowing that as soon as he throws that right hand, he's open for the body shot, which he's suspect to. It's ridiculous, right? You know. But Bivol would clearly outbox. You know who's a dangerous fighter? Much more dangerous for Bivol, obviously, than if let's say if Bivol was in the same division as Tank. You know who's much more dangerous? Arthur Beterbiev. If you want to be if you want to have a good comparison of power, you know, serious punching power, in the light heavyweight division to the 135 division. Artur Beterbiev is that guy, and if Artur Beterbiev cannot fucking beat Bivol, then you best believe that Bivol would outbox the shit out of Tank if they were in the same division. It Tank low punch output is a serious thing. It doesn't matter how precise he is and all this other shit. The only reason why he is successful in this division is because he's a wrecking machine. They seriously cannot hurt this man. He has been slightly hurt, and I've seen it. I think it was from Hector Garcia where Hector landed. I think it was that fight where he hurt him on the left, and he acted like nothing's happening. He was bouncing around and doing shit, and Ryan has seen that shit, and he was all happy because he thought he could land his left and he could hurt it the same way. But either Tank's chin has developed, or Tank has always been like this, which I would probably it's either one of those two. I can't really speak on that. And there's nothing that any one of these guys in 135 can do to Tank. And his low punch output is more than enough to take these guys out. It's just simple. Ryan won the first round in this fight. Ryan lost the second round. He was winning, and he got overzealous and he got hit. Granted, okay, he got hit. The same thing happened with Luke Campbell. All right. Third round, it was a pick'em. Nothing happened in the third round. Anybody could have taken that round. If you want to give it ring generalship, is the only way you can judge that fight, that round, then you can give it to maybe Tank in a way because he had the ring generalship. But it's kind of hard to say who really had the ring generalship in that third round because Ryan is the one pushing the action. Ryan is bringing it to him, and neither one is touching neither one. No one's touching no one in that third round. Fourth round, I gave it to Tank. Fifth round, I gave it to Tank. Sixth round, I gave it to Ryan. And in the seventh round, Ryan was doing well, overzealous again, and forgetting about the fact that his body is vulnerable. And Tank Spies have seen that shit. Leaves himself wide open for the body shot. Whatever the spies saw was true. And that's why he was focused on the body from the beginning of the fight. He was focusing. Tank was focusing on the body. But what did Ryan do? Instead of keeping his distance and throwing a 50-50 game with the body shots. But the thing is, that's the thing, man. I can sit there and say all this shit. His punching power, it don't mean anything. His punching power had no effect on this man. The only person's punching power that had effect is the guy that's getting knocked. He's getting dropped over here and getting knocked out in this fucking fight right here, Rolly Romero. That's the only man. The only man. So you think that these two, forget about what I was about to say. These two have something in common, and that is called showboating. You know what I mean? Rolly had a chance of winning, legitimately, if you look at it. If he had kept his distance, not chase after fucking Tank. But Ryan had no shot. After looking at this fight, Ryan had absolutely no shot because his power had no influence on nothing on Tank. Rolly does. Maybe Rolly in a rematch can do better if there is a rematch with Tank. Hopefully there is. He can do better, and I can favor him slightly. I would say 50-50 with it because we don't know what the fuck this dumbass is going to do. He's an idiot. Like, you can hear how he talks. Rolly, that is. He might end up still getting caught with something that, because he reaches in and everything. So I'm going to still favor Tank over him. Rolly. I'm still going to favor Tank. And Tank is improving in his fights. Every time he steps in, he does improve. But the deception of Tank, the people, I never thought Leo Santa Cruz would have beaten fucking Tank. Even though I never made a video on that shit, I never believed that Leo Santa Cruz would have beaten Tank. Ever. I thought he was gonna get wrecked. I thought guys with certain punching power, like these two, can fucking pull it off. But the guy on the left doesn't have that power. He might claim he does. It might look like he does. He doesn't have not. He does not have that power to keep Tank off of him. Tank could have easily walked him down and still won the fight. He boxed him out. He could have walked him down, Ryan, and he could have still won the fight. So I'm saying, no matter what Ryan did, he was still gonna lose that fight. Based on what I saw today, no matter what Ryan did, he would have still lost that fight. Clinched him, did this. You know, ultimately, if it would have been the same case with Barrios. Oh, I'm down on the cards. I'm gonna walk through this dude, and that's what it would happen. And the same thing goes with Haney, and the same thing goes with Shakur Stevens. On to the next uh, show. These two clowns, right? Well, at least one of them is not a clown yet. I always thought they were clowns, honestly. Something off about these dudes, you know what I mean? It's not because they're black. It's because something's off about these dudes. I have more respect for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford than I got for these clowns. And I didn't, and if, I had respect for Tank, and then for some not odd reason, some from his duckery and all the stuff that he was doing, I eventually put him in the same category as these two. Both of them are not punchers. They're not. They may claim themselves to be, but they're both not punchers. They both get walked down by Tank. Both of them. Both these dudes don't have a shot in hell against Tank. Mayweather picked the right dude. Mayweather's genius fucking picked the right dude to win. I favorite Tank over these two and even Lomachenko. There was a moment in time years back I favored Tank over Loma. Then I saw Loma do some shit and then I saw Tank ducking him. I was like, maybe he wasn't a duck. Maybe he was just trying to marinate it to get to the point where he eventually beats Haney and Shakur and then gives Loma a match that people want to see. The Haney fight with Loma is gonna be a close one, but Haney will edge it out. Maybe it can be maybe it just can be a fucking walkthrough where Haney just constantly makes him reset with the jab, and Lomachenko and clinches on him, and Lomachenko can't do shit. That's also a possibility. But another thing, with Shakur versus Haney, I favor Haney over Shakur. Another thing that people talk about, I favor Haney over Shakur. Haney's more proven. Haney has shown me a lot more than Shakur has. Fighting with a Japanese dude that's there to come to lose. In your first fight in the 135, how can I respect that, bro? How can I respect that? How can I say that you good? You know what I mean? There's no way. You can't do that. How can you have respect for these type of fighters, bro? You gotta be legit. You know what I mean? You can't be fucking bullshitting yourself. You can't make up crap like that just because you're a fan. Just because you like these fighters. You can't do that kind of shit. I like Bivol, but Bivol, to me, has proven himself. But he hasn't completely proven from. I call him the uncrowned pound for pound number one, but he's still, in order for me to truly call him pound for pound, I need to see him beat Beterbiev. And at that point, because Beterbiev knows how to box, I will call him pound for pound number one. But they're putting Shakur up like he's like second to fucking Bivol or something like that, and he hasn't done shit. Beat up Valdez, bro. Oscar Valdez that I favored you to beat as well. Shakur. It's easy. like easy matchup, reach advantage, speed advantage, technical advantage. Every aspect he had advantage over him. And it's not like Valdez can has like tank power or whatever like that to take out Ryan to take out Shakur. He doesn't. The Japanese do that certain level of power. Could have given him problems, but Japanese never came around to fight. Japanese came out to fold. He came to fold. And yet again, as I said many times before, uh, boxing technical analysis guys, it don't fucking matter how good you are if the other guy has an equalizer, and obviously he's gonna have some level of technique, and if he can land that shot, Wilder, good example. How many guys had more technical abilities than Wilder, and Wilder put them on what? On their ass. Exactly. It wouldn't matter. The best boxer doesn't always win. And it's not a puncher's chance type of shit. Those guys can set their punches up. I think Bruce Lee had a good quote. You could be good at everything. Uh, you can be good at 10,000 things, something like that. He said, but I'm not worried about that one guy that's good at 10,000 things. I'm worried about that one guy that's good at one really good thing. He's very good at that one thing. I'm misquoting this quotation, and that's Wilder for you. And that's a shit. Even Ryan, but Ryan didn't. That one really good thing was not even close to being good enough because his power was not respected by Tank. You see how Tank fought against Rolling. You saw how fucking Tank fought against Garcia. Two different fights. He ran around much more against fucking Rolly, but with Ryan, he was there to fucking trade. He wasn't worried. Tank is somewhat of a complete fighter. He's not a complete fighter. A complete fighter is someone that has power, has position, technique, but also can throw a bunch of punches, not relying completely on a few 5, 6 punches per round. Errol Spence is a complete fighter. Errol Spence is a complete fighter. That's a complete fighter for me. Even Terrence Crawford ain't a complete fighter for me. He just ain't. He's great. He's good at precision and all that kind of stuff. But let me say something about Terrence Crawford that don't make no sense to me. Why the hell was your fucking gloves against that Armenian dude tampered with to that and to the level where it looked like you had two Margarita gloves on you? I think Margarita had one glove that was fucking off whack. This dude had both of his gloves looking like they had bulges going on them. How can I respect your resume at that point, moving up in weight, when, bro, your ass went up against a guy that's been knocked out before, has 3 losses on his resume, and you had your gloves tampered with to that level? This you, it's like being a cheat. They caught you drug cheating, right? And forever, even though I believe all these motherfuckers have some level of fucking PEDs in them, and PEDs should be allowed because it's ridiculous. But going with a narrative that some cheat and no, some don't, which is ridiculous, people are gonna look at you as a cheater for the rest of your career, like Canelo. It's the same thing with Terrence with the gloves. They're gonna look at you as someone that tampered with your fucking gloves your entire career because you did that one time. Why'd you do it? And when you do it too, when you do it to a guy that has 3 losses and one knockout in his one by knockout. He has one of these losses by knockout. How the hell am I gonna and I was favoring Terrence Crawford over Errol Spence, but Errol being the A side in that fight, you think Errol's gonna allow any kind of tampering with his gloves? If he was been doing that shit ever since he got up from 140 to 147, or if he's been doing it his entire career. I don't know. You think Errol is gonna allow that shit? Fuck no. And if Terrence Power is not there from the outside, you know, check hooking fucking Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. If his power ain't there, what happens? Errol outpoints him just with a jab alone, because his Errol's jab is one of the best jabs in the fucking game. In a way, I can probably say his jab is probably the best jab in the boxing. And Ryan's left hook is the best hook in boxing I could take, but because when he misses, it's horrible. But when he does, only because it's the only reason why I'm saying Ryan's left hook is the best hook in boxing is because it's the fastest hook I've ever seen. Even in slow mo, when he did that to Fortuna, it was like you can barely see it. You know what I mean? The slow mo that he threw, yeah. But the power wasn't there for Tank. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. And the same thing, not the same thing. So it's even though he has a great fucking left hook, probably as I said, the best probably in boxing, probably. I'm not saying 100% certainty. I'm saying probably. The only reason why it's not 100% is because of the fact that when he throws it, he's completely open, and if he misses for all kinds of shots that his opponent can throw, whether the shot is he ducks underneath it, like how Tank did, or if he's tall enough, he doesn't have to duck underneath. He completely misses and he throws a 1-2 or a 2 straight down the pipe, or a fucking 3 or a 4, whichever. Whichever is the most reasonable one at the moment in time, depending on the positioning of his opponent. So yeah, in that fight, I favored Errol. For the longest time, I favored Terrence Crawford to beat Errol, especially with the Sean Porter fight, especially even before that. But now, I can sit there and say Errol is the more complete fighter. Terrence is not a complete fighter. He's not. He's good, but he's not a complete fighter. His defense lacks. Errol's defense is more on point, and Errol throws a lot more punches in bunches, and defensively sound punches, not just throws punches and he's there to get hit all the time. Of course you're gonna get hit. You can't, run in the water. You can't run in the rain and not get wet, bro. You know what I mean? It's boxing. You're gonna get touched up, but he's much more defensively sound, and he's got higher punch output. I favor Errol greatly in that fight, and he's got a chin to hold to even if, let's say, Terrence has power to somewhat do some kind of damage to him, and it's not bullshit. His power ain't bullshit. You know what I mean? In that case, I still favor Errol. It's because he's gonna put him. He's gonna leave him by the jab and just gonna bust his face. That's why. Because of those reasons. But anyways, that's 147. We're talking about these clowns, you know, and Tank. Tank beats them all, you know. And these guys, Haney is a better boxer, on points if you go by the amateur thing, and so is Shakur over Tank because they can throw more punch output and all that kind of stuff, and they have the reach advantage over him and all that, and they're pretty fast. But if Tank, if you're pushing Tank and telling him, hey, get this dude out of here in the first in this 1 round, 2 rounds, get him out. If you're like Calvin Ford telling him, hey, get this guy out of here, bro. He's gonna take a few shots. He's gonna deliver his shot, and it's gonna be night, night, good night for both of these dudes. He's not gonna give a damn what they dish out. He's just gonna walk through. Well, 140 might be a whole different story. Like if you let's say Tank fights Prograis, you know, yeah, man, I probably favor Tank over Prograis. To be honest with you, maybe anybody in 142. When I think about it now, I probably favor him over those guys too, because he got pop and he can deal with fucking tall fighters, and he can, and he has a hell of a chin, and he might. But the thing is, Prograis got durability too, so it's kind of to say that he beats Prograis is kind of hard. It's difficult to say that, but these guys, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident. I put money on it. I would definitely put money that Tank beats these two. I didn't put money on the Ryan versus Tank fight because I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. I flavored slightly to Ryan, and remember, at first I was with Tank, and my fucking prediction back in the day was I favored Tank 100%. But then when Ryan showed power and showed promise and all this kind of stuff, his foot positioning wouldn't even fucking matter, bro. All that kind of stuff won't matter. If he had the pop to put fucking Tank on queer streak, it wouldn't fucking matter. Because Tank, when he threw that fucking hook to the body, when he dropped him, Tank was willing to take a hit from Ryan. Just that simple. And he was losing that fucking round. Complete fight in my ass. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying now? That's why I didn't make a pick on this fight. And that's why Boxing Gems, my brother, your ass had money on Ryan also knocking out fucking Tank. If you were 100% that Tank, no question, beats fucking Ryan. No one is, bro. And we gotta be fucking frank. Frank Warren, no. Frank. No one is. You wouldn't put money on Ryan at all. You'd be putting Ryan, just Tank in general, just knockout. Especially if you're confident as fuck that he's gonna knock him out. Just put money on Tank. That's 100%. He knocks him out. End of story. Man, there's other boxing experts. Fuck. Okay, it's just me saying this shit. There's a lot of other dudes that favor Tank slightly, but they also gave Ryan a huge shot, a 40-60, all this kind of shit. That are fucking Andre Ward is a good example. A lot of fighters, a lot of some Hall of Fame fighters and boxers that have a lot of knowledge in the game, and they didn't know for sure because you know why? Because Tank wasn't proven. That's why. And neither was Ryan in a way. Shit, I take it back. Ryan, it was kind of proven. You know why? Because Ryan knocked out a guy that never been knocked out, Luke Campbell. And Luke Campbell fought all kinds of opposition. And Luke Campbell was the better boxer, who had the better foot positioning, had all this shit. And still, what happened? He got his ass because Ryan was the stronger, more durable, and heavier-handed guy. Unlike in this fight. You understand what I'm saying? He was. I didn't put no money on this fight. And I'm glad that I didn't. And my prediction video was nothing 100% certainty with Ryan winning this fight. No way, no how. Because nothing was certain. As I said, the reality is neither one of these guys were proven. But Ryan was slightly more proven because he fought Luke Campbell. What, Tank fought a drained up Pedraza. I think he brought him to 130. And he fought who else? A drained Barrios from 147 to 140, I think. I think Barrios, I'm not sure if Barrios was a guy at 147 or it was always a guy at 140. I'm not too sure. But he was drained, that's for sure. And then who did he fight? A Rolly Romero that stuck his chin out there and was there to get hit. And who knows if that fight wasn't fixed because before the fucking fight, before they made the fight happen, the first time they tried to make the fight happen, they came up with all these accusations. Whoa! All of a sudden, how'd that happen? That he's been raping women. And then who knows if they hadn't told him, hey, go easy on Tank. You're supposed to lose this fight. If you don't, we're gonna bring this shit upon you. Blackmailed his ass. Nobody knows, man. When you got spies in the camp, when you're fighting with your opponent and you're calling that Ryan Garcia, your opponent, like shit, you know what I mean? He's shit. Why are you bringing spies? There's so much deception in the Mayweather promotion. So much deception. So much unclear shit that don't make sense. That's why there's a lot of people who didn't believe that this was a real fight. And there was a lot of people who thought that Ryan could pull it off. There's a reason why. People don't just believe certain things because they just believe certain things. Anyways, yeah. So, at the end result, and then when we talk about, you know, Tank's power and everything like that, how can you he goes 12 rounds or something like that with Fonseca? So not 12 rounds. How many rounds did I don't just 12. I don't know what round he knocked out Fonseca, but it took him a lot longer than fucking Ryan. Ryan knocked Fonseca out in what, first round? But obviously that doesn't matter in some sense because Marvelous Marvin Hagler knocked out Tommy Hearns in 4 rounds, and Tommy Hearns knocked out Duran in 2 rounds. Duran went. Let me go back to it. Hagler went 12 rounds with Duran. Duran goes 2 rounds and gets knocked out by Tommy Hearn, and Tommy Hearn goes in there and gets knocked out in 4 rounds against Hagler. You know what I mean? So give me 1 second. So the ultimate thing is, uh, it ain't. It's just it's more than the fact the punching power and everything like that. Tank had a better chin, a lot better chin, and he did not respect the punching power of Ryan. The chin played a huge factor in this fight for Tank. If the chin didn't hold up for Tank, you best believe Ryan would have whooped him. Would have whooped him. You know what I mean? You best believe. I mean, this guy went. You know, this is a deception from what Tank's thing. The deception with Tank is how do you go around fighting? How long would have Gamboa lasted against Ryan Garcia? You know what I mean? How long would he lasted with Ryan Garcia, Gamboa, and how long it lasted with fucking Tank? This is deception of the power of Tank. We don't. Uh, does he really have that power? That's why we. That's why I favored majorly over Rolly to beat fucking Tank. This one I wasn't sure. I said if this happens, then Tank wins. If that happens, Ryan wins. Not certain, but I favor Ryan slightly because Ryan had the reach, Ryan had the speed. Ryan has timing, has all that kind of stuff. But the only thing that was missing in this fight with Ryan was the 50-50 with his fucking lead hand. He was tremendously lacking 50-50. He was making his shots very predictable. Even when he had opportunities to throw his shot, he was very cautious, very scared of throwing his punches. And when he did land, he got overzealous and ended up on his ass like in the second round. I mean, I mean, what kind of? I mean, this coach, man, Goose, bro, you, what in the world? You didn't tell this dude keep your distance. I'm not saying that would have made a difference. I still think even if he kept his distance, even if he boxed him out, Tank would have still fucking took him out because no respect for the punching power, none of that stuff. Why didn't you tell him to keep a distance? Make him come to you. Don't chase after him. And the same thing with Rolly. That should have been the same case with Rolly, but Rolly, you know, Ryan should have seen the Rolly fight and took an example out of that. You know what I mean? Rolly was, let's say, the test subject against Ryan. I mean, against Tank. So Rolly, you can kind of forgive. You got what I'm saying. Anyways, man, I'm done talking. I put my point across for the thick-skulled motherfuckers out there. You know what I mean? Who think boxing is a form of fighting. That boxing is all based on the skills pay the bills. No, it is not. A lot of factors play in the fighting game, such as boxing or even MMA. You know what I mean? Uh, Either or, it don't change. I can give you an example of MMA. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yes, it's MMA. It's not boxing, but he was okay standing up. He wasn't great at it, but his bread and butter was taking people down on the ground and ground and pound them. And ultimately, because of that, he is pound for pound number either one or two. It's between Jones and him. You know what I mean? And you can say it's Jones. You can say I have no problem with you saying Jones. I have no problem if you say it's Khabib. But he had one strong attribute, and same thing with Jones. Jones had one strong attribute too: his ground game. Even though his stand up was good, but his ground game is what ultimately nullified almost every type of opponent he fought. Because once he took him out, there was points in time in his career that he only had 30 seconds on his back on the canvas, all his fights combined. You could have one, as I said, Bruce Lee said it best, man. You could have. I'm not scared of someone that's good at 10,000 things. I'm scared of that one dude that's good at that one thing that he's the best at. You know what I mean? Misquotes, but somewhat the same quotation. You know what I mean? I'm trying to paraphrasing this shit. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's all I can say at the end of the day, bro. That's all I can say. No one beats Tank at 135. No one. And neither, you know, there's other fights out there. Benavidez versus Canelo. Benavidez don't beat Canelo. It's not happening. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? It won't happen. Bivol is Bivol. He might. There's a possibility Bivol can beat him again, but it's going to be a close fight. They might rob Bivol on the scorecards in the second fight. Don't know. But it's going to be very close. I feel like it's going to be very close in the second fight with Bivol. And then Zhang, yeah, the fight that I didn't analyze or anything like that. I just went off of I feel like Joyce might win. Didn't do a prediction video. If I did a prediction and analyze it, I would probably say, hey man, Zhang hits pretty hard. I thought Zhang didn't really hit hard. He hit hard. He just hit it maybe somewhere around the area of, I don't know, because he couldn't stop uh, Filip Hrgović. And Filip Hrgović, by the way, had won that fight. He won the fight with Zhang. Zhang barely had 4 rounds to 3 rounds in that fight. He didn't beat Filip Hrgović. Filip ultimately means he has a good chin. He has a proven chin now. You can say that. Just like Franklin with Anthony Joshua has a proven chin to me now. Zhang, in my opinion, hits as hard as Tyson Fury, somewhere in that area. He does not hit as hard as AJ. AJ has put Joy Joyce on his ass in amateurs with padding and fucking bigger gloves and all that kind of stuff. So, no chance he hits as hard as AJ. That's what I got out of that fight. That's one thing I got out of this fight. And the other thing is that I always knew, and I didn't really get off of it, I always knew that fucking Joyce is there to always get hit, man. He is a punching bag, and I've said it in my past videos. He is a punching bag. He's ready to get hit, and his left hand of Zhang was always there. It was just, just tell me when to hit it, and I'll hit it type of situation with Zhang, you know what I mean? And after like the second round watching that fight, I was like, Zhang stopping this dude. And not second, maybe third. Yeah. Third fight. And Joyce didn't win a single goddamn round in that fight, bro. he just got fucking destroyed, and anything he threw was a pepper shot. Anything to get fucking Zhang off of him. That's all it was. And it's gonna be the same situation in the second fight. You know what I mean? If they ever have one. Joyce has shown areas that he can box, but he can't sustain that. Where he can avoid punches, he can't sustain it. He's comfortable being a punching bag and delivering his shots. That's why I favored him to lose against. I favored Daniel Dubois to beat him when the fight. But Daniel Dubois doesn't hit as hard. He hits as hard as Dylan White, and that's not good enough. You need to hit it just a little bit harder than that to take off Joy Joyce skull. You know what I mean? You need to be hitting the Tyson Fury to AJ level or higher. You know, just Tyson Fury and above punching power to be able to stop Joy Joyce, and that's why I never gave Joy Joyce a shot against Tyson Fury. Not 1 point. Not ever. Ever did I give him a shot. I don't know what crack they're smoking on. They thought that Joyce can do that shit. Can't have any kind of success against Tyson Fury. Not even Wilder, especially Wilder. He's gonna get fucking cracked and it's gonna be over. It could end pretty. In 3 rounds, he could finish. Wilder will finish Joyce in 3 rounds. Yeah, those are the fights that I didn't talk about, didn't say anything about. You know what I mean? Because I was working and didn't feel like making a video after I'm tired coming home. And I didn't feel like, yeah. It's, as I said before in my past videos, I only do videos when I feel like it. And I felt like doing this video. And as I said again before, if let's change topics and let's go back to Tank Davis. If Tank wants to be the fucking face of boxing, he needs to fight Haney. Fuck Shakur. Shakur is not the concern. You go after the belts, guy. That's because that's what fucking Canelo does. Being the true face of boxing. Not the fanboy bullshit fucking face of boxing. A true face of boxing is Canelo. And that's what Canelo does. He faces challenges. Yes, he's ducked the Charlos and maybe for reasons not not known by me. I wouldn't know why, because maybe either he thinks he's not ready or because there's not really any money in it. Don't fucking know. You know what I mean? He's ducked them, the Charlos and Andrade. Um, I feel like he beats the Charlos. To be frank, they don't have anything special to offer to him. Andrade might be a difficult one, but I think he can still eventually walk him down and hurt him and stop him. Those are the guys he's avoided. Benavidez is not a guy that he's avoided. He just came to the scene, Benavidez. Now he's worthy of a challenge. And that's it. Yeah, but other than that, he's challenged one belt holder after the next belt holder. You know what I mean? So you can't say that about Canelo. But what has Tank done? Who's he fought? Did he fight Gary Russell? This is why I think for a long time I thought of him as a high chop. Why didn't he fight Gary Russell when Gary Russell was there to be fought? If you're such a fucking tank, like you claim your name says Tank, you should be walking through over fucking over Gary Russell. You know what I mean? Gary Russell was a problem for him. He didn't know him and his managing not too sure at the time. Not anymore. I don't know how good Gary Russell is right now. At this point in time, I haven't been watching him fight. I know he lost a fight that he probably should have been given this past few months, or was it last year? I can't remember. I haven't really watched the fight. I saw the highlights of it. But when Gary Russell was Gary Russell, this fool never fucking challenged him when he was in 130. So how can you have respect for Tank, bro? See what I'm saying? Like, okay, I get it. You don't want to fight Lomo. But what about Gary Russell? You know, if Lomo's a marination process, you know, you got to marinate that to get to that point where you finally fight and then make money. Why not Gary Russell? Because you think you couldn't beat Gary Russell, right? That's what it is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And your promotion didn't think you can beat Gary Russell. Because if you had trouble with Leo Santa Cruz, you're gonna have a lot more trouble with 130. Obviously, his power is gonna be not there because it's like drained and all. He's 130. I get it. He's not gonna be like what he was with Ryan Garcia, but Gary is pretty defensively sound. He's a very tough opponent, very technical. You never gave him a challenge, but he's some kind of complete fighter, right? He's some kind of complete fighter. He's some kind of great fighter. You know what I mean? Bro, this what happened today now proves Tank is proven. Everything he's done before, everything he's done before has one improvement, one on not proving anything type of shit, just fighting either tomato cans or people that are worthy challengers, but they're drained. Even he also drained Ryan. And they say, oh, don't drain any excuse. Bro, the draining has a huge influence in the fight. If Ryan, hypothetically speaking, wasn't drained, he would have probably got up from this body shot because when you're draining the body, it also fucking drains your liver, and your liver is a storage of nutrients and all kinds of shit. You, you're damaging your liver. Not to mention you're damaging your brain, all other stuff, for draining your body. I'm not saying 100% certain because I'm not a doctor, but that if Ryan could have gotten up, I mean, not even doctors can tell you that shit if Ryan could have gotten up or not off of that shot because of the fact that he was drained. But draining played a factor, no doubt. Would it made a difference throughout the whole fight? No, I do not believe so. I think he will still got knocked out because he didn't respect his power at all. If he had respected his power, like in Rolly's case, if he got damaged in this fight and the body shot played that factor, then I would say that Ryan's situation was a drain issue. This was not a drain issue. This was just Ryan not having too fragile for Tank and not enough power to keep him off. That was it. Yeah. Face of boxing. It's fucking retarded. The only time legitimately that Tank would be the face of boxing is after he beats the Haneys and the Shakurs, which he will. If that fight's ever take place, he will. And even Loma, I think he beats Loma as well. If he beats those guys, then he's the face of boxing. He beats those guys, moves up in 140, major fights. Pro grade. I don't know if Josh Taylor gonna be around. Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? If I think Teo's gonna lose against Josh Taylor, but it doesn't even matter. It'll still be a major fight with Teo. You know what I mean? Then people are gonna be tuned in, just hyped up. They're gonna want to watch this fight like a Mike Tyson fight. There, people know that what's gonna happen. That's So I think the ultimate thing is, uh, he's gonna be the true face of boxing if he beats Lomachenko. Not because he's a white man, because Lomachenko was someone he ducked, someone he didn't want to fight, and supposedly he ducked the other two as well. But I don't know when, how, all that kind of shit. I've not kept a track of, you know. So yeah, once he beats, maybe because if Haney beats Loma, he beats Haney, and then Shakur, he's already at that point at the top, so he doesn't have to go through Loma. But that would be a huge turning point when he beats Loma. I think he's gonna have his name is gonna skyrocket high up. It's gonna go up like Mayweather status or some shit like. Because if Haney beats Loma, it's gonna be a close fight, and they're gonna say, hey, Loma is old and all that kind of shit, which he is. He's older, He is kind of past his prime, not exactly. He's on the slide, but slowly down. But usually small fighters go on the slide very fast, so it's gonna be a little thing. But they're gonna want to still see the Loma versus Tank, even if Tank beats both these guys, Shakur and Haney. They're still gonna want to see it. Once he beats Loma, in emphatic fashion, that is, knocks him out, which I believe he will. then he'll be the face of boxing. No, there's no one that would argue with him. No one would say, hey, yeah, dude, you cleaned up the division, and you can also fight at 140 because you have what it takes. You're the face of boxing. You're undisputed, and for one division, and you've been champion in 130, not 140. No trinket championship belt. Get Barrios. You were a 130 champion, and you've been undisputed at 135, and you've knocked your opponents out, the top level, and you're Mayweather's boy. End the story. You're the face of boxing. But now, like you compare him with Canelo, how? Yeah, Canelo's on his way up. How you sure if Canelo's on his way up? Canelo might do another 4 years. Exactly. He's still not the face of boxing. He can be, but he's not. Not yet. He's a future face of boxing. It's more like it. Anyways, guys, I'm done talking. Um, this is the end of my video. It's the Gypsy. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention. Uh, Isaac Cruz versus Tank. I had rewatched that fight in my past video, and I don't know why I said for some reason I kind of forgot the fact that uh, I had scored it in favor of Tank Davis beating Isaac Cruz, and I think Isaac Cruz won like 4 rounds. Um, I guess the first time I watched it and I was streaming it, uh, video quality wasn't so good, and I thought Isaac Cruz was doing some work, but it really wasn't the case. When I rewatched it carefully and everything, all the rounds and everything like that, I gave Isaac Cruz barely 4 rounds, and Tank had won eight rounds. Plus, Tank had broken his hand because of the solid defense of Isaac Cruz, not because he had an injury coming into the fight. No, he broke his hand throwing his favorite shot, the uppercut. That's his number one, even though he didn't really. I don't know if he threw a shot I think he threw an uppercut in this round in this fight, but I'm not too sure. I didn't really see it. Maybe one, if anything. I missed it, if anything like that. That's his go-to punch, the uppercut. That's his favorite thing, kind of like Chris Eubanks. And he broke his hand throwing that shot against Isaac Cruz, but he beat him. Yes, in a way by one hand. He beat Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz did not beat fucking Tank Davis. I'm not being biased or anything like that. But if you look at it with a poor stream, you'll think that Isaac Cruz is having success, and you think that Tank's punches are coming off the gloves of fucking Isaac Cruz. But when you zoom it in, you get close enough, you actually see that Isaac Cruz gets touched up, even though his guard is up. He's getting hit in the forehead and everything like that. It's not touching his gloves. Anyways, that's it. I'm out. Gypsy, nice talking to y'all. Good night. Let me just shut this off of this fucking thing. It's not working.